Hi all. In this video, I'll be continuing our seminar on the topic Children with Behavioral and Emotional Learning Disabilities. And here I'll be talking about some supportive measures that can be given for these type of children for their empowerment and progress in life. Before going into the topic, let us have a quick discussion on disabilities. So, in the previous years, in the ancient times, disability was considered as a curse or a fault of a child or a family. But nowadays, we are realizing the original fact that disability is not a fault, it is not a defect. And actually, the people who are disabled, are not responsible for their disabilities. It is the society that is making them disabled. Like it is the people surrounding the person that is making him disabled to do some certain task or certain activities. That is, the society is making them disabled to perform actively in their daily activities. And especially for the children with behavioral and emotional learning, due to their inability or due to their lack of management of their behavior as well as emotion, they are being affected in their learning process. And it is our duty, it is a duty of our society in order to make that sure that the children, due to their difficulty in managing their emotions and behavior, will not face any difficulty in their learning process as well as for the overall development. And as teachers, there are a lot of things that we can do for their upliftment. And inside the class as well as outside the class, there are several measures that can help these people to live a happy life or to have a good learning process just like all the people. So here I will be mainly discussing about five things. The first one is some inclusive teaching strategies for these kind of students. The second is the use of some teaching aids as well as the adaptation of some curricular methods. Then the required classroom accommodations that need to be made for these kind of students in order to make them feel inclusive in the class, and also certain challenges that we'll face in an inclusive classroom and a small case study. On talking about the first topic, that is inclusive teaching strategies. So in a classroom, a teacher must follow some inclusive teaching strategies. Like in a class, there will be different kind of students. Some type of students will be having some issues like this, their inability, or they will not be able to manage their emotions, and they will not be able to manage their behavior. Sometimes there can be people who are visually impaired or who are having some low hearing or some hyperactive students, etc. So in order to manage all kind of these students, a teacher should follow some inclusive teaching strategies. So these are some of the inclusive teaching strategies that I have noted. So first one is to build a positive teacher-student relation. So a positive teacher-student relation will create a love between the teacher as well as students. And that will obviously make the students to learn that, to love that subject as well. And hence, if a student loves the subject, automatically he'll learn that subject and he'll have the progress in that. He will have an academic progress. So it is very important to build a positive student-teacher relation. Next kind is the teacher can provide some kinds of small reinforcement. It can be in the form of it can be in the form of verbal words like good, okay, very good, okay, you did great, etc. Or it can be in the form of some small objects like a chocolate, a token, a prize, a token of love, etc. So providing certain kind of reinforcement will encourage and motivate the students to participate more and to achieve more. Next one is to provide enough break and relaxation techniques. So especially these kind of students who are having some management issue, emotional management issue, they want some break. Continuously, if we are providing them workload, the students may feel overloaded and they'll burst out. It is a normal thing, bursting out. But what is our duty is to provide them with enough break and relaxation activities or techniques to be given to the students. Next one is to encourage self-expression for the students in the form of some words. If we are in between the class, we are asking the students, okay, now you just think about your past, or now you just think about your strength, your weaknesses, etc. So provide the children the enough time for expressing themselves. So that will have a great benefit in a classroom. The next one is to promote group learning and peer support. So we know that in a classroom, more than a teacher, the student will interact with his or her peer or his or her group. So it is very important to promote group learning and peer support. Through that, the individual can learn more than when a teacher teaches. Next is differentiated instruction. So I said that in a class there will be different kinds of people. There can be slow learners, there can be fast learners, there will be average learners. So a differentiated instruction should be made possible. Not all students are the same. Each one is having individual ideas, opinions, pace, etc. Then maintain consistent classroom rules and procedures. So these kind of children, they will have some, they'll make some idea in their brain and then they will follow that. So if you are changing the classroom rules and procedures again and again and again, so it may create a confusion in their mind. So what we have to do is we have to maintain a consistent classroom rules as well as procedures to be followed so that the children will understand it in their brain and then they will work it out. The next is to create a safe and positive environment. So learning happens only when there is a learning promoting environment. So it is very important to create a safe and good healthy learning environment for the students to progress in their academic skills. Then next is to encourage the maximum participation of all the students. In a classroom, the teacher is conducting the activities or the teacher is giving the notes or the teacher is taking the class, not just for a single person or a single group of person. It is for a whole class. So the teacher should make he or she should ensure it that all the students from the class participate in the activities that are being provided in the classroom, including the children who are having any kind of disabilities or special abilities. Then use clear and simple instructions in simple language. So these kind of children who are having some issue with their emotions and behavior, they'll not, and if we use a very big words and all those expressions in while giving some instructions, sometimes they'll not understand what it is. So while giving some instructions or something, we should use simple language and it should be very clear for the students. Then respect and value individual differences. So um, we have to understand that the individual differences are to be valued. They have to be respected. And each student will have different kinds of walking, different kind of eating, different kind of listening, writing, etc. So all those differences should be valued and they should be respected. So these are some inclusive strategies that a teacher should use when he or she is taking class. In a taking class, especially a class which is having emotional and behavioral learning disabled children. So now we'll talk about the usage of some teaching aids and adapted curriculum methods. So teaching aids are very important in order to teach any student with some special abilities or normal students or anyone. Teaching aid is important because it makes the abstract thing concrete so that the student will understand the concept more clearly and they can write very well or apply those concepts into the real life. So in order to make all the students to understand the content, various teaching aids and technologies should be used, such as audio visual aids. The teacher can prepare a video of the concept, or the teacher can bring some visual aids like charts or something else like an image or some animated videos, etc. So audio visual aids are an important part of teaching aid. Then some interactive apps and smart boards can be used so that the student feels very engaged and they will be very active in the class. Then assistive tools like text to speech, speech to text. So some people they are having these kind of students, they'll be having issue with their behavior management so that they cannot write the things. So they can use text to speech. So they can use speech to text method. They can convert what the teacher is saying into the text and then get it printed out. So all those assistive tools are also important. Then educational games for engagement, games like Kahoot or Blue Kit or something like that can be used so that the students will be very active and they will be very interested. Then visual schedules and behavior tracking apps can be used in order to understand the behavior and character of the child. So these are some of the teaching aids that can be used. Now talking about the curriculum adaptation methods, this curricular content needs to be adapted to meet the needs of all the children. And here first we have to do is we have to simplify the content. The content should not be made like it is only useful for the very high talented students. No, it should be very easy and understandable for all the students. The content should be simplified. Then flexible teaching pace. Teachers should be given a flexibility in their teaching pace that they should be allowed to check on their students, understand their pace, and then teach according to their pace. So, a flexibility should be provided in teaching, and also use of activity-based learning. In while preparing a curriculum, more focus should be given for the activity-based learning, which will encourage and motivate the students to perform well in their class. Then breaking of task into smaller steps. If there are a very big complex step or complex task, the students feels very hectic and very tired. But what we have to do is, or what the curriculum should do is, they have to break the task into small things so that the students will not feel that burden. So that is one of the adaptation method. Then alternative assessment method. The assessment method should not be a fixed one. There should be a possibility for alternatives because different students are having different kinds of abilities. Some are well in writing, some are well in talking. So the assessment method should also be changed. Now, on talking about the required classroom accommodation, the classroom should be accommodated in order to meet the needs of these kind of students. So, what are the things to be completed are all the students will not be having that same pace of learning or same pace of writing, especially the students with emotional and behavioral disabilities. So, while doing some activities or while writing the exam, try to provide some extra time for these kind of students, even if they are not asking for it. So that is very important. The students sometimes may not ask the teacher because of some kind of shyness or something. But it is their teacher's duty to provide some extra time for the completion of tasks and exams. Then preferential seating. If we are making these kind of students to sit at the last back corner, so the students will not be getting enough attention and he will be doing his own work and he'll be distracting others. So the whole class gets disturbed. What we have to do is we have to give some preference for the child and will make the child to sit near the teacher's room or teacher's bench. The next is reduced homework load. Providing a lot of a workload for the students on reaching home will also make them tired and will also make them frustrated. So homework load must be reduced. Then use of calm down corner. Calm down corner should be made in all the school where the students can sit calmly and they can take a rest for a while. They can keep their brain clean and be ready for the next class or next day. The next is to provide various kind of instruction, verbal, written, etc. So all the learners or all the students are not learning through the same method. Some are learning through writing the things. Some are learning through speaking. So different kind of instruction should be given in order to meet the needs of all the people. Then allow short breaks in between the classes. If we are continuing our lectures for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, the attention span of the students will be lost. So no one can listen a class for that much hours. So short breaks should be given in between the classes to make them fresh. And some cool, engaging activities should be given in between the classes so that the students don't feel bored. So these are some required classroom accommodation needed to meet the needs of these kind of students. Now, talking about the challenges. The inclusive classroom has some challenges. The implementation of an inclusive classroom have some challenges. First one is lack of trained teachers or teacher training. All the teachers are not trained in providing an inclusive class. So the lack of teacher training is a very great challenge that need to be rectified. Nowadays, the schools or the teacher training courses are providing this kind of training, but still there are a lack of teacher training. Then large class size. In a class, there will be 50 to 55 students. So the teacher cannot attend sometimes the teacher cannot attend all the students. So that is a challenge for this inclusive classroom. That is large class size. Then limited resource. The teacher will be having limited resource. Sometimes the projector will not be there. So she cannot show any video or something. Sometimes there cannot be smart boards. Hence, she cannot engage them in some activities, etc. So limited resources are also a challenge. Time constraint. So in our school, there are some time periods within which we have to finish these much chapters. And in March, we are having exams. So in between that, we have to complete all the chapters. So there are some time constraints. That is also a challenge to the inclusive classroom. Then managing diverse needs simultaneously. The teacher is also a single person and she has to cover all these diverse students. So that also becomes difficult for the teachers. The lack of parental support sometimes. Sometimes the students, the parents of these students sometimes may not provide any support to the teachers. They will be sometimes fed up or frustrated with their child. So lack of parental support is also one of the challenges. So overcoming all these challenges is a great task and it is what we have to do as a prospective teacher. So that's all about the challenges in inclusive classroom and some supportive measures that can be given to a child having emotional and behavioral learning disabilities. Now I'll be talking about a small case study. The student is named Raven and he is of the age level and he is having a problem that he's having a frequent anger issue and he's having a difficulty in focusing and he's disrupting the classroom. That is the problem. Now the interventions made by the teacher are: the teacher prepares a daily behavior chart of the child and she notes down the behavior so that she'll get a clear idea about what is the issue with the child. Then the teacher, when he does something positive, provides some positive reinforcement. So this Raven feels that, okay, the teacher is taking care of me. So if I do this again, I'll get that reinforcement again. So positive reinforcement. Then the student is being provided with some counseling support. So some counseling teachers are coming, they are counseling him and providing him that support. Then some interactive learning method. Raven is asked to recommend a friend to use the smart board, to do this, match the following, etc. Then continuous engagement in the class. The Raven is not allowed to simply waste the time or to simply think about his activities, something like that. He's always engaged in some kind of recreational activities or some kind of academic activities. So these are the interventions made. When talking about the teacher found that his concentration is improved because he is always engaged in something. So concentration is improved. His aggressive behavior is reduced because he is not having time. He's always engaged either in academical work or in recreational work. He's not having any time. Then better participation in the class. The teacher was making him do the interactive activities in the class. So he was having a better participation in the class. Then improved academic performance. So the teacher, Raven feels that, okay, when I does this thing again, I'll get again reinforcement. So he is progressing in his academics also. So improved academic performance. Next is positive classroom behavior. So all these bring a positive classroom behavior in his class. So in this way, Raven's that act is being resolved through those interventions. So this is a small case study on these kind of students. So that's all about this seminar, and we have discussed about the meaning, then meaning of children with emotional and behavioral disability, then types of emotional and behavioral disabilities, and how it affects the education of the student, and what can be the educational supportive things that can be used in order to make the upliftment for these type of students. And we have discussed a small case study as well. That's all about the seminar of second group from B.Sc B.Ed Physics, and thank you.